Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, and I'm back to bring you another episode review from Season 7 of The Loud House. So let's get right into it. Today's episode is There Will Be Mud. In this episode, Liam and his Meemaw strike it rich when they discover oil on their farm, and they move into a fancy neighborhood where they try to adapt to their new upper-class environment. I'll start by saying I really liked the story just for the fact it was a combination of the classic sitcom The Beverly Hillbillies and the classic musical My Fair Lady. The episode takes the core elements from each production, mostly lower-class people with a rather unsophisticated way of behaving and talking while trying to adapt to an upper-class society, and everything is meshed together very nicely. The Hunnicutts discover an insane amount of oil and they allow their farmland to be used for drilling. They get paid a fortune to move into a rich neighborhood, and although they embrace their new giant mansion, their stereotypical farm-loving lifestyle and informal way of speaking is a huge turnoff to their more sophisticated neighbors. Feeling like they don't fit in like everyone else, Liam and his Meemaw turn to the McBrides for lessons in etiquette. I'm surprised Lola wasn't there to help, considering she knows a thing or two about being fancy. Anyway, the McBrides teach Liam and his Meemaw how to be more sophisticated in both behavior and speech. They later accompany the Hunnicutts to an open house for some additional on-the-spot training, and to make sure they don't put their unsophisticated farming temperament out on full display, even though that's exactly what does end up happening. I have to say, the Hunnicutts getting all dressed up and trying to act fancy and speak with proper grammar were the best highlights of the episode. You could tell they really wanted to make a good impression with their rich neighbors by showing they weren't just a bunch of hicks, but they couldn't help but let parts of their country lifestyle and personality show through. Deep down, they knew they weren't having fun because they knew the prim and proper lifestyle wasn't for them. Their farm animals knew this as well, which brings us to how the status quo was reset. The farm animals break out of the stable they were forced to stay in, and they began causing problems inside the mansion. One thing I found confusing about this scene was how the cow became infuriated upon seeing the color red. I know the long-running joke in cartoons is how a bull gets mad and charges at anyone who wears red, but because the episode uses a cow, the joke doesn't really work. I get how a bull and a cow are from the same species of cattle, so you could say it's a joke based on a technicality, but I thought this particular instance was a bit of a stretch. Either way, Meemaw manages to get the cow under control, and she and her grandson can't help but laugh when they see the mess their animals made, which they thought was the most fun they had all night. They finally admitted the real good life for them was back on the farm, and so they pack up the tractor and head on back to their true home. One minor critique is we never see what happens after Liam and his Meemaw return to the farm. Did they manage to pay off the oil company so they could get their land back? Did they decide to stop all the drilling, or would they at least keep some production going so they could make a little money on the side? I know it's not that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. However, considering it was oil that caused this family to lose sight of who they were, maybe getting rid of all that black gold would be their way of saying they'll never again let the power of money turn them into the kind of people they know they're not meant to be. Overall, this was yet another fantastic episode starring Liam. I know I said Huncut Gems was his all-time best, but I also really love this one, so I honestly can't say one is better than the other. The story was very entertaining, with Liam and his Meemaw taking on the combined personalities of the Clampett family and Eliza Doolittle, and the end results did not disappoint. They each had their funny moments trying to be fancy while also letting their true farm-loving personalities shine through. Even the part where Meemaw got the violinist at the party to switch from something soothing to something country western was really good. The fact this woman pulled out a cowboy hat to emphasize the sudden change in music made this even more amusing. The McBrides had a few teachable moments of their own, and at least they weren't upset when it turned out all their etiquette training was for nothing. One last thing worth noting would be Sainty Nelson is credited as the voice of Meemaw. Apparently there was a goof in the credits of Huncut Gems where Sonia Manzano was mistakenly listed in Sainty Nelson's place. So it turns out Sainty did in fact provide the voice of Meemaw in both episodes, and I seriously thought Sonia was doing a spot-on impersonation of the original actor. Sure could have fooled me, but yes, this is undoubtedly another great installment for Season 7 where the takeaway message is learning to accept who you really are, and more importantly, who you really aren't. I'll just say that out of all the boys in Lincoln's Freckle Gang, Liam is officially my favorite as of this episode. With two spotlight stories from the same season where his typical farm boy traits are front and center, while also coming to terms with who he really is, he is by far the most interesting and well-rounded side character Lincoln's friend group has to offer. Or at least, that's just what I think. With that said, I give There Will Be Mud a 9 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of There Will Be Mud. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Y'all come back now, you hear? Peace out, home slices.